On today's ride, we're heading up Highway 70, climbing through the canyon, crossing over the Polgar Bridge, and following the river as it winds its way through some of the most beautiful country in Northern California. There's just something about this stretch of road, the canyon walls rising from both sides, the river cutting through the rocks below, the history layered into every turn. It's just one of those places you don't just ride through, you get to experience it. And yet, it's kind of funny when you think about it. We spend all this time and effort trying to get away. We load up the bikes, we plan the routes, we burn the fuel, all just to relax and get into nature. We come out here to unwind, to breathe, to reset. We read the history signs, we learn about the bridges, the railroad, the people who carved their way through this canyon long before us. We're fascinated by what's been built here and what's been done here. But sometimes we miss the bigger picture. Before there was a highway, before there was a bridge, before there was a rail line that ran through this canyon, there was creation. The canyon itself, the river below, the mountains rising overhead. The Bible tells us in Psalms 19:1, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the skies proclaim the work of his hands. Creation isn't random scenery. It's not just a backdrop for our ride, it's a declaration. Every cliff face, every bend in the river, every sunset that lights up this canyon, it all points to the Creator. It's funny, we come out here to relax in the quiet of nature, but nature itself is constantly speaking. It's showing us that none of this is on accident. That behind this beauty, behind the power, behind the design, is a hand of God at work. So as we ride today through this canyon, over these bridges, along this river, let's just not admire it. Let's see it for what it is, a reminder of his glory. And maybe that's why places like this affect us like they do. It's not just the fresh air. It's not just the sound of the river. It's not even just the freedom of being out on two wheels. It's that deep down, whether we realize it or not, we're responding to the fingerprints of God. Romans 1:20 says, "For since the creation of this world, God's invisible qualities, his internal power and divine nature, have been clearly seen, been understood from what has been made." Think about that. God's invisible qualities clearly seen. Out here in this canyon, you see the power in the way the river has carved through the solid rock. You see the creativity in the way the light hits the trees and the cliffs at different angles. You see consistency in the steady flow of water that's been running long before we showed up, and will keep running long after you and I are gone. Creation reveals something about its creator. And when we slow down enough to notice, something shifts in us. We start with relaxation, but we end up in reverence. We start with adventure, but we're invited into worship. Because the same God who shaped this canyon, the same God who formed these mountains and set this river in motion, he formed you and he sees you. And he invites you to know him, not just through what he's made, but through his words and through his Son. As we continue to ride today, let's look at this a little closer. Let's listen a little deeper. And let's let creation do what it was designed to do, declare his glory. As we roll back down Highway 70, it's hard not to look at things differently than when we first started. At the beginning of this ride, it was just scenery, just a great road, just another beautiful stretch of Northern California. But now, it feels like more. This canyon wasn't shaped overnight. This river didn't carve this rock in a single moment. Power, precision, and patience. And that's how God often works in our lives too. Sometimes He's shaping us slowly, carving away rough edges, building character through pressure, deepening our faith through seasons that we don't always understand. James 1 reminds us that testing of our faith produces perseverance. Just like this canyon, formed over time, shaped with a purpose, and built to display something bigger than itself. While this ride is coming to an end, the engines are going to start cooling down. But the glory of God on display in creation, that doesn't end. The heavens declare the glory of God, and they still declare it today. So next time you head out for a ride, the next time you cross a bridge or follow a river or climb up into the mountains, don't just see the road. Look around. You might just see your Creator. Hey, I really appreciate you watching this all the way to the end. It means a lot to me. See you next time.